Hello, hello. Ashley here, back with episode 51 of the Maverick Mompreneur podcast. I am so thankful you're here and listening in for another episode of the podcast. Today's episode is audio from a live video over in my free Facebook community, Elevate Academy, answering a really good question from one of our members. And she asked, in this economy, what shifts, if any, should you be making in your business? So with high inflation, a probable recession, we're going to talk about how to get into thrive mode and hopefully get you excited and a bigger picture vision for how to work, pivot, and thrive during this time versus wondering and worrying about if and how your business is going to survive. I'm excited. I think you're going to love this episode. So grab something to take a couple of notes with. And before we dive in, I did want to ask you to, if you are at all interested, take a look at the new one-on-one Elevate Intensive options that I've linked in the show notes. There's 7 different options and they are all specific outcome-driven, short-term one-on-one mentorship. So anything from particular tech upgrades to branding to getting unstuck. There's 7 options. So take a look at those. If you're not interested in a longer term coaching container, but you could really use eyes on and just someone to sit and look at your business, give you perspective, give you some fresh ideas, etc. So check that out. I have blocked out a limited number of spots on my calendar each month for these intensives. So make sure if you're at all interested, if you have questions, let me know. You can DM me at Ashley R. Latimer. And then also, I wanted to invite you to a masterclass experience this Friday, October 7th, if you're listening to this week. And in this masterclass, I am going to guide you through coming up with an offer that your existing audience will be absolutely stoked to pay you for. So this is going to be an asset that you can use to monetize your brand for months and years to come. You're spending the time to build a personal brand and business online. If you don't have your own offer, this is a no-brainer. Creating and selling my own offers is how I went from a $49,000 year in 2019 to a $49,000 month in 2021. And this process can apply to any niche or industry. And the cool part is it's something that should be based on something that you already know, a tried and true formula that we're going to pull out of you. And so in the Irresistible Offer Infusion Masterclass, we're going to go over the following: what is an offer and the 3 essential components. What can you create as an offer that's going to complement your existing brand and be very appealing and useful to your current audience. The offer container that aligns best with your business and your personality. There are so many options. How to make your offer irresistible to your audience. And then goal setting and a little bit of revenue mapping. So if you're ready to elevate the impact and income of your personal brand in any niche, make sure you register through the link in the show notes so that you can get your workbook in advance. And I will see you on Friday. If you're not listening to this in time to catch the live masterclass, I probably will be doing something with the replay, and I will put that link in the show notes after this week is through. Okay, let's get into it. Today, we're going to talk about the question: in this economy, high inflation, probable recession, what shifts, if any, should we be making in our businesses? And my goal for this live video, this response, is to hopefully get you to the same place that I'm at and where I've gotten myself to, and that's into almost excitement and thrive mode versus wondering how the heck your business is going to possibly survive this. Okay, because that's not going to serve anyone. It's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve your ideal clients. It's not going to serve you in the future. And so let's make a shift right now. Decide that you're going to be open. We're not going to be freaking out. Things can feel scary, but they don't have to. And so I hope I can help you with that. Earlier in the week, I asked a question, and it's funny how things start to come together when you're in tune with your audience, you're in tune with your intuition, you're putting all the pieces together. And so I've been really excited this week because I had this whole plan for what I was going to offer and market, and it's sort of shifted throughout the week, but it's based on what I know that my peeps need, right? And so we were talking about checks being down across the board in social selling, which if you're in this group, Many of you have social selling or network marketing businesses, whether you are building and leading a team, whether you are sharing affiliate products or a combination of the two. And we were talking about how checks in that industry are just down across the board. And this is something that I know because I work with dozens of women in all different companies within that industry. And I also have a connection to a social selling company myself, and everyone's checks are down. It's just, we saw this burst and bubble around 2020 with, ironically, COVID times, and many people saw their checks in that industry really increase and maybe even adjusted their living expenses and budget to that new normal. And now we're seeing things come back down, and that can be really scary. And with like a probable recession impending, and the temptation for us in times like this is to be really cautious and save and feel like that's the advice that we should give. Like, okay, more than ever, save your money, be cautious, play safe. But in fact, I'm going to give you the opposite of that advice, because the cool thing is, in times of recession, and there's tons of research on this, a lot of times an average person, an average business can be set up to absolutely freaking take off when, and if we have this recession, it will recover. And so I want you to set yourself up to literally take off versus crash when this whole thing recovers, and it will recover. There are things you can do to position yourself to thrive throughout this time, but even more so to set yourself up long-term for like the business of your dreams. I'm really excited about it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is our chance. Let's do this. So on the flip side of saving and playing it safe, my advice to you is, within your business in this economy, to consider taking risks. Okay. You want to have this business growth mindset, not this scarcity. Oh my gosh, what will we do? And now is the time to be doing that, because we're not in that recession yet. So if anything, for me, I'm like, this is the time. And I'll give you a story. So in August, I was thinking about all of this a lot and thinking, oh my goodness, I am the breadwinner for my family of one and my daughter, right? And so for me, this is a real thing. Like, I can't just have my business crash. So I started freaking out. And then I told myself, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to practice what I preach. I am going to elevate what it is that I'm doing. And I had wanted to work with this one particular coach for a really long time. And she's very expensive and she's worth every penny, but I had hesitated on making that investment with her. And I just happened to see she put out an offer that was $3,000 for one call. And for whatever reason, I just felt this pull. I'm like, I need to do that. I need to do that. And I know what that's going to do. It's going to put me in the position where I will take the risk. I will listen to every damn word she says in that call. I will come prepared. I will do my pre-work. I will do all the things. And so I made that investment and I just did it. And I don't know how you make decisions, but I'm learning more and more within my own self. I make decisions at a very, they call it like your sacral level, a very gut level. And so if I feel it's a hard yes or a hard no, if I listen to that and I go with that, it pays off big time. And so I did, even though I felt a little nervous and I felt like, is that really the move I want to make for an hour? Like $1,000, that seems kind of crazy. But she also has the level of business that I aspire to. And so I thought, you know what? This is what we do. We invest in ourselves. We invest in our business. We have a business growth mindset versus scarcity. So anyhow, flash forward, we had that call and I implemented literally one tweak to my business. That is something that I learned from this coach within that call. And it wasn't even necessarily the point of that call, but within a week, I signed a $20,000 client a week later, which was to date, I think, the largest coaching package that I've ever closed on. And that was an offer that I had not previously had available. And so all that to say, the return on investment of making that investment, $3,000, and then what is that, like a 6x return on investment within a week? This is what can happen when you take those risks and have that mentality of, this is how we grow in this space. So that's one piece, is to take risks versus get into like the temptation of playing it cautiously and safe. The other thing to do, the shift to be making in your business. And for some of you, this may be a moot point because you may already have this dialed in. I know that I don't. It's constantly a work in progress, but I know how important it is. And that is to take this time. So take this time right now in this economy to streamline what you have going on. So like your systems for sales, how it is that you're doing things. If you feel like you're doing things willy-nilly, gotta dial in your processes, make it simple, refine your brand message, find your zone of genius and work from that and just hone in and align everything, because that's the place that when you see a gap in the marketplace, or you see that your industry or your niche, your ideal clients need something, you can efficiently swoop in there, right? And you can pivot and you can scale when this thing gets back on its feet. But if you haven't taken the time to really streamline things, set up your email marketing, be generating leads in really smart ways, automated, not, DMing people, take this time to really get all the things dialed in so that you are like a fluid machine, right? Your business can just take off when you need to, want to, and can. I was reading this quote and it says, the payoff comes, and this is in thinking about working on your business and showing up and being powerful within it. The payoff comes when the situation gets back on its feet, and it will, and you have a more efficient, highly polished, and well thought out approach to your business that breezes ahead of the competition and sees you netting some serious success. So while other people might be in scarcity fear mode and scrambling, and all of a sudden their content quality is way down and they're just reel after reel of products and things like that, you are in the meantime being very thoughtful about your content. You are taking the time to elevate your brand, to refine it, to show up even more powerfully and create systems on the back end and processes. And even if that's scripts for the types of messages you're sending in response, whatever it might be, whatever level of tech or no tech you're at, but knowing what your processes are, that is going to set you up to be so much more successful than you've ever been through or after when all of this recovers. So I hope that makes sense. This is a part of that last piece, and that's to work on your personal brand. So really work on your personal brand and the number one asset of your personal brand, which is yourself. Business growth mindset is inextricably linked to your own personal growth. So a shift I would be making is to focus on your personal growth, build in time for that. So whether that's reading, whether that's working with a coach, taking a course, developing yourself as a person, as a businesswoman, take time for that and really block that out as part of your business work time, because you working on yourself and becoming more authentic, understanding your message and what you're here to do, all of those components are what leads into a magnetic brand. So learning about how to embody the business owner that you are and that you want to be and that you're growing into regardless of results. All of these things start with you. And so focusing on growing yourself, growing your brand magnetism, your authenticity, even if you're not growing your income numbers at the time, you can still be experiencing business growth because you are your business. So even if your sales are down, that doesn't mean that you need to then show up as if, oh no, my check is down, my sales are down. No, you are navigating this as a leader in your space, in whatever industry it is, for your ideal customers, for your ideal followers, for your ideal readers. The shift to make is getting into that leadership mode and leading your audience through your content, through how you're showing up, through the way that you're embodying the results that you are offering for them through your products, your services, your opportunity. That's going to have you standing out from all of the other people in your industry who are not showing up in that way, who are not focusing on being a thriver versus a survivor, who are not focused on building themselves and building their brand during a time when, yes, maybe your checks are down, maybe your affiliate commissions are down. We talked about creating high value content, increasing your brand authority. Oh, if you have not listened to episode 50, so this week's episode of the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, I talked about the 3 time collapsing ways to build brand authority. That's what you need to be doing. So go listen to that episode. This is the perfect time to be working on that. Okay. So high value content, thinking about the long-term plays and what you're setting yourself up for. So to me, I'm like, like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. We're just going to hit it hard. I'm going to continue creating good quality, long form content that it can be discovered on Google. So taking this live video, getting it on the podcast, getting it on my blog, putting it on Pinterest, repurposing content. So those types of systems is what I'm talking about, where you're creating high quality content, but you're making it work for you and grow your brand. Even if you're not seeing the income growth, you're setting yourself up for major growth in the future. Okay. So those are the things that I'm talking about. I don't know if I gave you specific examples, but that's where my mind goes. Building your body of work now, making that shift into, wow, this is actually an exciting time because there's this opportunity. The cream rises to the top. So if you have been someone and you haven't achieved the success that you have desired, it's time to make those mindset shifts. It's time to become that more magnetic brand and human so that you can be the cream that rises to the top, and you will. And that's kind of the cool thing that does happen when and if you show up powerfully, you refine your systems, you work on yourself. That's going to have you standing out from your competition. And sure, is that a reality that there is going to, if there's a recession, there's going to be more competition because there are going to be more people who are in scarcity mode, not wanting to spend on things. But that's your opportunity to be a better, more caring marketer of whatever it is that you're sharing, because you really have to then get into the, okay, what do I offer? So a few questions. What is it that you offer? What can you offer within your business? What does your ideal customer or ideal client need now? So what is their biggest pain point now? Like, you're getting in there with your people, with your ideal customers, and finding out what problems can you solve for them? How creative and good can you be at solving problems for them? Because that is going to have you standing out. Whether or not people are buying from you, they're certainly going to have their attention on you. And what do you need to have a thriving business? Attention. And how do you keep attention? Really good freaking content that helps people. That's the formula, right? So this is your time to hone in on that and to get really good at what you do, and to get really good at finding out your ideal client avatar. What is it that they want and need, and how can you speak to that? And how can you offer your products, services, or opportunity, or your own offers as the solution to that? That's going to be content that converts now and or majorly later, because you're building your brand authority. Go listen to episode 50, because that's a whole nother like 45-minute conversation that we talked about earlier this week. So I want you to listen to that too, because these go hand in hand. And this is also a time to learn more about your industry. So if you're in social selling, and even more niched down specifically, what types of products do you offer? Is it makeup? Is it healthy living products? Is it collagen? So what's the market like? What is your industry like? What's working? What has worked in the past? Seek out advice from those who have thriving businesses that you aspire to and you would like to create, and then start taking their advice and implementing it, right? So this is the time to really elevate. And I say that word all the time, but it's for a reason, to elevate yourself, to elevate what it is that you're doing, to elevate your systems, to elevate your understanding and knowledge of your industry, of marketing. All of these things, now is the time to make those shifts into leaning into all of that and positioning yourself to absolutely take off when this whole thing turns around, okay? And to thrive through it, because you growing, I think the phrase is, you're either winning or you're learning. And so in this case, I feel like it would be, you're either winning or you're growing in some way. And it might not be your income that's growing, but you are growing and you're positioning yourself for income growth. Obviously, you know I was going to say this. I have 2 bullet points in there right in the middle of all these other notes. If you haven't already, start creating multiple streams of revenue like yesterday. I'm very extremely passionate about this, and it's just all coming full circle. I thought about this 2 years ago. I was in the top 2% of my social selling company at the time, and I was focusing and putting most of my eggs in that basket because it was going well. And so when something's going well and checks are up, it's easy to focus on that and continue building that. And why would you not? But I got this thought, this nagging thought that, you know what, number one, I want to be able to have impact outside of just my team and outside of just my industry. And not saying just in like a derogatory way at all, but I knew that what I was teaching, the skill sets that I built and all the things, I wanted to be able to reach people outside of those circles, those smaller circles. And two, outside of the impact part, because income is followed by impact, the potential for income, increased income, not dependent on how well a company was doing or the climate of the market in that industry was doing, having and creating my own offers started to make so much sense. Making sure that I had funnels set up to sell my affiliate products, my social selling affiliate products passively, making sure that that was dialed in, and then thinking towards, what do I want to do? What is my message? How can I help and how can I serve? And what do people need right now? And so I created my own offer and was reached out to about like some one-on-one consulting or coaching, I guess you would call it, but I didn't offer that out front, but I made an offer of a program called Influence, Impact, and Income Academy. This was in January of 2020. And that month was a $15,000 launch. And at the time, it was in this group. At the time, the group was less than 300 members. I think it was specifically 260 something. And it was a $15,000 launch, not including the revenue that I was generating from social selling. And at that time in 2020, which many of you experienced, my check was pretty good. Throughout that time, my check was pretty good, but I did not want to have all my eggs of impact or income in that one basket. And now fast forward 2 back-to-back 6-figure years with all revenue streams combined, I think about the conversation we've had in our community and side conversations I've had with women who are in social selling, with everyone's checks, including my own. I mean, I don't even want to tell you what my check is now that I'm not focusing on that business. But even if I were focusing on it, it would be way down. And if I were relying on that source of income to sustain my lifestyle and pay my bills, I wouldn't be able to do it. The reason that I'm able to thrive now is because of the work and the systems and the offers that I created 2 years ago. So I positioned myself, not that we were in a recession then, but it's the same concept, right? Maybe if we were in this time, I wouldn't have been able to launch. Actually, I take that back. I know I would have been able to do the same, but maybe it wouldn't be this like astronomical quick growth. I wasn't even expecting that. But what I know is that now I have a business which allows me to literally create money out of thin air. It's not dependent upon how an industry is doing, how a company is doing, the popularity of a product on social media or via Google with SEO. It's literally just dependent upon me developing myself, creating damn good content, caring about my ideal clients and caring about my audience and serving. And that's what it is. And it's an amazing thing. And you can have the same business model in any industry alongside what it is that you're already doing and just diversifying your revenue streams. So in this economy, the shift that I highly encourage you to make is thinking about creating your own offer. If you could make $5,000 from a 1 or 2 medium ticket sales per month, how amazing would that be as an additional stream of revenue that is a way to monetize the content that you are carefully and thoughtfully and from the soul creating? If you had something to offer, and you don't have to do medium or high ticket, it can be something that's under $97 and make 10 sales, whatever. Everyone's businesses are different, but positioning yourself as someone who can create your own income and impact through consultation services, through a group program, through a digital course. It's 2022. The options are so endless. That's a way that you increase your brand authority. If you are someone who not only can provide solutions to the questions that your audience is asking, but if you in fact are the solution and you have your own offer as the solution to something that your ideal client, your ideal customer is wanting, how powerful is that? And it can be absolutely alongside of and or replace, surpass what it is that you're doing. doing. Everyone is so different, but what I would do is focus on taking control of your revenue and what it is that you can do by learning how to create and effectively launch your own offers in addition and complementary to what you're already doing. And you can have a variety of price points because, of course, not everyone is going to be like, yes, I want like the premier package, but some people will. They're like me, like investing $3,000 for a 60-minute call because knowing what return on investment can do, creating a variety of price points, creating an offer suite. I mean, these are the things that I just like live and breathe and love working with clients on. And that's what I would say the biggest shift should be, is shifting into creating multiple streams of revenue in whatever way feels aligned to you, whether that is becoming an Amazon affiliate and starting to incorporate more of that and making a couple $1,000s extra in addition to what you're already sharing, and also setting yourself up as even more of an influencer versus a marketer. There's so many ways. So let's go over this. So to make sure that you are in this economy in business growth mindset and thriver mindset, we are not going to play it safe. We are not going to play it cautious, at least not with our mindset. We are going to take risks because this is the time to do it. Take risks, but even more importantly than that, take the time to work on refining what it is that you're doing, streamlining your systems, getting down to the heart and core of your brand, having a content strategy, content repurposing strategy, thinking about creating long form content that's really going to build this body of work that increases your brand authority, focusing on working on yourself, you as a personal brand. Your magnetism, your attraction to your audience is so much dependent on you, your energy, the knowledge that you have and are willing to share in a way that is creative and interesting, your ability to show up powerfully when other people are scared. All of these things are really going to elevate you during this time or any time. But why not? If you can show up like that during a time of uncertainty, then you can certainly show up in a time when it's not like that. Like, this is your major growth mode opportunity. Focus on, as always, but even more than ever, really focus on your ideal clients, your ideal customer, getting to know and asking questions of your audience as to their needs currently. How can you then become a solution for that? And what I would then, in conclusion, recommend is that if you desire to create your own stream of impact and income that you are literally the only person on earth that is meant to do from your zone of genius, creating your own offers as the solutions to those problems, either in replacement of or alongside of what you're already doing. So you're the brand, here's you, and then here's all the ways you can monetize in your content, but it's still up under brand you, if that makes sense. So I hope that that's helpful. I hope that that helps you feel less worried or intimidated and more excited about the possibilities of setting yourself up to be extremely successful through, and especially after coming through a probable recession. This is when a lot of millionaires are made. And I know you hear that all the time, and not everyone's goal is to be a millionaire, but why not position yourself for that? And multiple streams of revenue, refining your processes and refining and elevating your own self. You really can't go wrong with that. So I hope this was super helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. My goal is to help as many women in business online as possible to build strong, powerful, aligned, and profitable personal brands. The best way to show you appreciate this content is to screenshot and share on your social media or share with your team. Actually, even better would be to also leave a review for the podcast on whichever platform you're listening on. If you are looking for any additional support, you can always reach me via email at hello@elevatedwithashley.com. You can DM me on Instagram at Ashley R. Latimer, or join us in the free Elevate Academy for brand building, maverick marketers, and mompreneurs Facebook community. Can't wait to chat with you next week.